At least 14 people have been killed in Kyiv after the deadly strikes on the second night of Russian strikes on the Ukrainian capital in a week. And this comes on the eve of a critical NATO summit into Kyiv that US President Donald Trump plans to attend. Kyiv mayor said at least 2 districts of the city reported fires or damage caused by falling debris. Air raid sirens have been activated across the capital shortly before the explosions. Ukraine's Air Force say the attack involved ballistic and cruise missiles and drones. The assault on Kyiv follows a Russian glide bomb strike on the southern eastern city in Ukraine called Zaporizhzhia. 1 police officer was killed, while 13 others, including 2 children, were injured. The attack also caused extensive damage to residential buildings, destroying homes and triggering a fire. The visuals on your screen show emergency crews combing through the wreckage in search of survivors. Rescue teams evacuate residents and even their pets from the affected areas. Hours before the latest strikes, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that Moscow was preparing to launch a new large-scale offensive against the country. He claimed Russia had deployed around 2,200 attack drones, over 1,700 guided aerial bombs and 106 missiles of various types, nearly half of them ballistic. He said besides Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, Kharkiv and Dnipro, as well as border and frontline communities, are under fire almost every day. Ukraine has also intensified its long-range strikes inside Russia and Russian-occupied territories in recent weeks. Russian army says it shot down more than 500 Ukrainian drones overnight. The Russian-appointed governor of annexed Crimea said on Monday that electricity had been cut to Sevastopol following a Ukrainian strike on energy infrastructure near the city. Amid the escalating exchange of long-range strikes, fighting continues over the strategically important eastern city and town called Konstantinivka. Earlier this week, Moscow claimed its forces had captured the town, which lies on the route to key logistics hubs in the Donetsk region. But Kyiv has dismissed that claim as false, insisting Ukrainian forces continue to defend the town. The war is in its 5th year, but Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov for the first time said Russia is now openly considering the conflict in Ukraine to be a war. He argued that it began as a special military operation but escalated because Western countries actively backed Kyiv. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts to end the war continue, with US President Donald Trump expected to meet his Ukrainian counterpart during this week's NATO summit into Kyiv. The expected talks come after Trump held a phone call with Zelensky on Saturday. He also spoke separately with Russian President Vladimir Putin, offering to help find a path towards ending the conflict.